coming up today on Ag Day. It's a trip to Central and South America. U.S. soybean growers don't want the Panama Canal ship to sail without the U.S. being on board. U.S. soybean growers are filling a void in a country hungry for more feed. That's thanks to a major free trade agreement. And we'll meet a Colombian farmer who turned rural from city and is now living the dream.
Ag Day, brought to you by the Chevy Silverado, the one you depend on, the one that lasts.
Good morning, I'm Tyne Morgan. As dynamic world markets can shift U.S. grain and oilseed futures on any given day, more attention is on new and growing markets. And today we'll get a global view of the power of the U.S. bean in this special edition of Ag Day. Each year, the National Soybean Checkoff, which is called the United Soybean Board, handpicks young soybean farmers to take a trip abroad. The See for Yourself program is designed to not only show these farmers where their soybeans go, but why money is invested in building some of these key markets each year. And this year, Central and South America became the destinations of choice, and Ag Day was invited to tag along. The Panama Canal is an important global shipping artery. The canal serves other countries, but is vital to the U.S. as 3 out of every 10 bushels of grain and soybean exports goes through that canal. It's the link between the Caribbean and Pacific Oceans, saving vessels time and money by allowing them to cut through versus going around the continent. And for Mike Steenhoek, Executive Director for the Soy Transportation Coalition, that canal is the standard to which he holds all U.S. locks, dams, and ports.
I keep going back to the example of the Panama Canal that was built in 1914. It was opened in 1914. But when you go visit the Panama Canal, you don't see the leaky gates, you don't see the crumbling concrete. And the reason is they do a better job of taking care of what they have. And you can substantially elongate the useful life of these assets, these locks and dams, if you just do a better job of routine maintenance. So, you know, the country that built the Panama Canal has a lot to learn from the country that currently owns and operates the Panama Canal.
Well, as you just heard, the infrastructure of the canal is what makes it so impressive. David Harkey, a farmer in Illinois, is chair of the United Soybean Board committee that sends these young farmers on a trip each year. He says Panama was an obvious choice this year because of its growing importance to world trade.
We picked Panama because Panama is a up-and-coming transportation hub. I mean, with all the ships that have to go through Panama, I thought it was important for the growers to see where we're going to be at in 5 years if we don't start building our infrastructure.
Let's head now to Panama to get a first-hand look at the massive oiled machine.
With 42 vessels charging through these waters and making a stop at the canal each day, these locks never miss a beat. The engineers cut a path in a demanding industry before advanced technology was even available, and the strong vision they had is apparent today.
They're hydraulic driven, and they've been there for, like you say, 100 years. They're still functional, and from what I gathered, they haven't had any trouble out of that. That's amazing.
Construction began in 1904, and despite disease and other barriers standing in the way, in 1914 the Panama Canal finally opened. Nearly 100 years later, it's running more efficient than it ever has.
Since the canal is running 100% of the capacity, and their actual clients are making their vessels bigger. For example, the maximum size of ships allowed to go to the canal are called Panamax.
Higher demand is what's creating the need to handle bigger ships. While the expansion design is similar to the older system, the authority at the canal sees bigger as better. But moving forward, the engineers are learning from past mistakes.
Basically, it operates with gravity. There's no pump, and with the actual set of locks, there's an average of 52 million gallons of fresh water that's always spilled to the ocean.
The new construction will recycle more than half of the water used.
So, in order to give service to their actual client, they have decided then to make a new set of locks, which will work similar to this actual locks. In other words, with 3 levels to be raised to a total of 85 feet above sea level, but they will be having side pools on each level with the main idea to recycle 60% of the water.
It's not just the U.S. that relies on the efficiency of the canal. China, Canada, Chile, and Japan are also some of the canal's biggest customers.
I think it's a totally new picture for the world. I think I've been fortunate enough to visit, during this rebuilding, or say the expansion. I'm not that much of an expert in terms of engineering, But in terms of the numbers they expect, it's probably going to triple the size and the volume of cargo through the between the Pacific and the Atlantic enormously.
The highly anticipated new construction was originally scheduled to be complete on the 100th anniversary of August 2014. But now it looks like the new gates will open a year later, still putting pressure on the U.S. to be able to handle bigger vessels and keep its competitive edge.
Well, it could really be a substantial enhancement to our competitiveness, or it can be a missed opportunity. The question is, are we going to make corresponding investments in our infrastructure to keep pace with what's happening in Panama?
Well, we have much more to come during this special edition of Ag Day, including a trip to Colombia. We'll get an inside look at the impact of a major free trade agreement with a key South American country. And we'll meet a dairyman who's living the Colombian dream. But first, pictures from the See for Yourself trip.
You're watching Ag Day Television with host Clinton Griffiths, Farm Director Al Pell, National Reporter Tyne Morgan, and meteorologist Mike Hoffman. Ag Day, the country experience.
A woman and her truck. A woman, her truck, and a 1,200-pound passenger. And two bodies with one mind. And a ribbon that goes on her wall, not in her hair. The all-new Chevy Silverado, with the best available towing in its class. Strong for all the roads ahead.
Corvus pre-emergence corn herbicide. It's not just consistent, it's your corn-loving, broadleaf weed killing, grass crushing. 5.6 fluid ounces per acre. Rock steady, fast track ticket to one pass city. Corvus from Bayer. One pass, two modes, 0 doubts.
Uh-oh, not again. The power went out. It's hard to see with that old weak flashlight. You need the old Brooklyn lantern, the vintage-style lantern with new LED technology. Those ordinary flashlights just shine a narrow beam. They never work when you need them, but the old Brooklyn lantern has 9 ultra-bright LED bulbs that shine for 100,000 hours. Just look at the difference. And the built-in dimmer switch adjusts from a low, gentle glow to a super bright light. Keep one in the house, and you're always ready for any emergency. It's guaranteed or your money back. Call and get your old Brooklyn lantern with LED technology now, just $12.99. Call right now and you can double your order. And call right now and find out about free shipping.
Call 1-800-210-5441 to get your old Brooklyn lantern. But hurry, we're giving away a special offer on a second lantern with today's orders. That's 1-800-210-5441.
Welcome back. A major role of the United States Soybean Export Council is to help create relationships to strengthen international trade. An agreement recently put into place is the U.S.-Colombia Trade Promotion Agreement, more commonly known as the Colombia Free Trade Agreement. While it was signed in 2006, it didn't go into effect until May 2012. Under the agreement, more than 80% of U.S. exports, including agricultural goods, are duty-free. While many ag leaders lobbied hard for the agreement, some Colombian farmers and extremist groups have recently lashed out against it. This is from just north of Bogota, which is the capital of Colombia. Protesters started a nationwide agricultural strike in August. Now, this is after we visited the country, but the protesters threw fruits and vegetables, demanding subsidies to potato, milk, and onion producers, as well as demanding the government to reduce the imports of those foods. The Colombia Ag Minister blamed union leaders for the riots. While visiting the area, many industry leaders spoke about the advantages of having the free trade agreement in place. Regional reporter Michelle Rook also attended the tour and tells us why the agreement means big business for all partners involved.
I'm here at this dairy cattle operation in Colombia, and because of the free trade agreement that was struck with the United States, it presents a huge opportunity for U.S. soybean producers. That's because Colombia raises essentially no animal feed ingredients.
We actually purchase everything from the U.S. or South America. We kind of do all the feed here. You don't have like this big industry processing soybeans.
There is a preference for U.S. Soy, and Colombia is 90% dependent on imports. They're only producing 50,000 tons.
Of those soybean imports, 60 to 70% currently come from the U.S.
Last year we did $91 million worth of soybean, just grain.
U.S. soybean meal sales were another $70 million, and the market will grow with the free trade agreement.
We can capture 90% of this market. I mean, we can grow to about 130 million.
He says that's possible because of the FTA, which has leveled the playing field for the U.S.
The FTA is going to help increase that because the FTA zeroed most tariffs for agricultural products. So, you know, if you have zero duty, you basically have a free trade.
With tariffs eliminated on soybeans under the new free trade agreement, the U.S. will capture more of that market share.
We're going to start buying a lot more from the U.S.
They've been buying beans from Argentina, and because of this free trade agreement, it looks like they're going to be buying more from the United States.
Colombia uses a lot of soybean meal because they can buy it from the States as a product ready to be used in the feed industry.
Colombia also grows very little corn. The U.S. supplied 100% of their needs until prices got too high and market share went to 10%. However, the FTA could change that.
I would say that gradually we will regain this market. 100% probably not. I would say 50, 60%, yes.
The FTA is also driving livestock integration in Colombia, which will increase demand for U.S. feed ingredients.
We started this year actually with the purchase of a company, so we're integrating and going directly to the poultry industry.
So the FTA will make a good export market for the U.S. even better. In Colombia, I'm Michelle Rook reporting for AgDay.
Thanks so much, Michelle. When we come back, we'll learn more about Bogota's booming population and meet a dairyman who's living the dream.
The secret to finding more buyers for your cattle is no longer a secret. CattleExchange.com is like no other site. It brings the greater ease of use, detailed information, and searchability found in sites like Cars.com and Autotrader.com to the cattle industry. Upload photos and video to attract more buyers and share greater detail in your listing. Cattle buyers and sellers are connecting in ways they never imagined. Go to www.cattle-exchange.com and discover the secret to better selling.
Hi, this is Mark Gold with Top Third Ag Marketing. I have just issued a free workbook on marketing in the top third. This book contains all the major principles from my marketing seminars. And Top Third wants you to try an option at our expense. Included in the book is a coupon good for up to $150 in premium, plus we'll pay the commission and fees. We want you to learn how options can help you become a better marketer. Call 877-TT-HEDGE or visit topthird.com for details.
Javen Smith grows continuous corn in southwest Iowa. He says growing corn on corn presents some unique challenges.
Some guys will choose fungicides on specific hybrids. We run fungicides over every hybrid on continuous corn. It's just part of our management strategy. You know, looking at what we're doing today versus what we were doing 5 years ago, I would say, you know, we're using more of the later chemistries and focusing more on plant health and plant disease on our continuous corn. We chose Stratego Yield over our competitors. I guess myself, I just feel that it is the latest chemistry with the Stranobles. It's the newest on the market, and I guess, you know, with prices where they're at, we want to run the Cadillac program. I would say on a weighted average on using Stratego Yield fungicide applications, we are seeing anywhere from 4 to 15 bushel increases on the fungicide treatments.
Just before the break, you saw how important the Colombia Free Trade Agreement is to both U.S. farmers and Colombian leaders. There's a growing need because of the booming population in the country's major cities. Bogota is one city that's appetite is improving as incomes increase.
Depending on who you talk to, it's between 9 to 11 million people. Yes, it's as big as New York City, has the same dynamism, and it's growing.
This bowl-shaped city is bursting at its seams. As more Colombians yearn for a better way of life, Bogota keeps packing the streets with more buildings, more people, and a growing appetite for more protein.
In 38% penetration, household penetration in 2009, and we went to 49% in 2012.
The growth hasn't come easy. Negative perception has been standing in the way.
People thought before that pork was dangerous or was unhealthy.
Our consumption numbers are very, very low. Colombia's got one of the lowest, ratios in terms of consumption per capita, around 5 kilos, which is close to, say, 10 pounds. That's very, very low.
But as quality assurance has been spreading through the industry and formal production practices have caught on, it's education that's the recipe for increased demand. These are some of the television ads the pork producers have been running, encouraging consumers to eat more pork. And it's worked. Consumption has almost doubled, and Maya expects that to continue to climb.
We have a new generation. We have people that think different about pork, and if there's a place where we have a place in a sector where we really have opportunities to grow is pork business in Colombia.
The poultry producers have a hefty goal as well.
We have 234 eggs per person per year. These are very good figures, but to be honest, we want to have the same figure as the Mexicans do, making one Colombian eat at least 1 egg daily.
While the free trade agreement will help both poultry and pork producers buy quality, affordable feed, it's the imports of actual poultry products that's creating too much competition and hurting producers' bottom line.
Before, when we negotiated the free trade agreement back in 2002, the price of the breast was very high. It was around $7.50, $8 per kilo, and the leg quarters were around 35 cents per kilo.
But as Americans' appetite and budget has changed, leg quarter prices have spiked, now around $1.20. At the same time, he says chicken breast prices have tumbled.
In the moment that they can enter into Colombia with zero tariff, they are a big threat for us. We have big concerns on that.
He hopes an improving U.S. economy will change these conditions. At the same time, increased production in Colombia will help producers take advantage of the free trade agreement and ship more of these products out.
Still to come, helping those in need with a healthy dose of soy. But first, we'll meet a retired glassmaker living the dream. It's green grass and these tan jerseys that make his retirement home a true oasis. That's next on this special edition of AgDay.
AgDay, brought to you by Stratego Yield Fungicide from Bayer, official fungicide of the Yield Bump. Stratego Yield, healthy fields, higher yields.
Is your property a jungle choked with overgrown saplings and brush? Take back your land with a DR Field and Brush Mower. Nothing stops the DR. Thick grass and weeds, out-of-control brush, briars, or canes, even 3-inch thick trees are no match for America's favorite brush mower. Lock it in and rip it up. Clear it out, clean it up, and rediscover the land you've lost. And with optional attachments, the self-propelled DR Field and Brush Mower converts into a finish mower, a snow thrower, a portable chipper, or a grater blade. It's a field and brush cutter and so much more.
Call 1-800-386-5401 for a free buyer's guide and DVD. You'll learn how you can try a DR Field and Brush Mower at home for 6 months and pay no monthly interest for 36 months. Hurry, this offer won't last. Call 1-800-386-5401. Online at drfieldbrush.com.
You want a stronger, healthier, and better yielding corn crop, but what you need can seem overwhelming. Well, it doesn't have to be. Bring the Corn College TV experts to your farm with Farm Journal's Corn College Education Series. Ken Ferry and Missy Bowers share their practical, hands-on advice organized into 4 easy-to-follow topics vital for your crop success. Choose the one DVD you need or order the complete set. It's time to take the next step to a stronger, healthier, and better yielding corn crop. Order Farm Journal's Corn College Education Series today.
You see it everywhere nowadays. We call it the yield bump. It's a grower's way of saying you made a good decision. Because when you treat young corn with an early season application of Stratego Yield fungicide, you get stronger stalks, healthier fields, and even higher yields. So get a jump on your yield bump with Stratego Yield Early Season.
Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Medellin, the second largest city in Colombia, became known for its drug cartel. Finally, in 1993, the government was able to dismantle the powerful cartel. The perception of the crime and danger still lingers, but the country roads outside of Medellin are home to some of the area's best kept secrets, a true oasis to Colombian residents tired of the city life.
There are 42 small lots. This is the entire farm that I own here.
Peacocks running wild, tropical flowers providing a splash of color in this lush green landscape. This is the daily backdrop to Gil Restrepo's dream.
Everybody in this area, we all have a wish, and that is to own a farmhouse.
He's a retired glassmaker who used to escape the busy city life and visit the country every weekend.
So I end up purchasing 11 different small pieces of farm, put them together. I have roughly 14 hectares.
He didn't know the first thing about raising cattle, but his daughter married into both knowledge and a similar dream.
One of my daughters married a guy that was pretty knowledgeable about cattle business.
That blossomed into what it is today.
We together started learning about the cattle, and it came out pretty good.
When he bought the place, it was a package deal: the house, the land, and 2 Holsteins. But this new farmer quickly learned that's a breed he didn't want to touch.
It was a terrible situation because the calf was so big, they had to cut him off, and I said, no, I don't like this.
The thought of producing milk, however, was something he liked.
I started to learn and found out that every place that you have 2 Holsteins, you can have 3 Jerseys.
So Restrepo invested in jerseys, and it's paying off.
We got around 20 liters per cow per day.
He says very few Holsteins can produce more than that, but it's not just the quantity he's grown fond of. It's the quality of milk he churns out each day.
The protein content is completely different. So my price, Colanta pays me a premium, which is very good. It's around 30% over what the Holstein people get. And that makes me very, very happy.
It's a business venture that he never dreamed, and a way of life he always hoped, that keeps reminding him just how fortunate he is during life's great journey.
Now, he says it's hard to find jerseys for breeding stock within the borders, so he's implemented artificial insemination from bulls in U.S., Canada, and New Zealand to keep the quality of his herd at high levels. Well, please stay with us. We have more when we return.
Uh-oh, not again! The power went out. It's hard to see with that old weak flashlight. You need the old Brooklyn lantern, the vintage-style lantern with new LED technology. Those ordinary flashlights just shine a narrow beam. They never work when you need them, but the old Brooklyn lantern has 9 ultra-bright LED bulbs that shine for 100,000 hours. Just look at the difference. And the built-in dimmer switch adjusts from a low, gentle glow to a super bright light. Keep one in the house, and you're always ready for any emergency. It's guaranteed or your money back. Call and get your old Brooklyn lantern with LED technology now, just $12.99. Call right now and you can double your order. And call right now and find out about free shipping.
Call 1-800-210-5441 to get your old Brooklyn lantern. But hurry, we're giving away a special offer on a second lantern with today's orders. That's 1-800-210-5441.
Volatile fertilizer and energy prices bring great risk and opportunity. On one hand, you can lock in attractive prices and delivery periods. On the other hand, you could make purchases at exactly the wrong time. Pro Farmer Inputs Monitor gives you the ability to track DAP, MAP, potash, UAN 28 and 32, urea, anhydrous, farm diesel, and LP prices in your crop district. Plus, get specific buying advice, industry news, and market coverage. Subscribe today at inputsmonitor.com.
While the way of life is improving for some in Colombia, there are still many who are food insecure. That's why the United States Soybean Export Council is helping in a unique way, as they saw soybeans as an answer to a desperate need.
As children play in this Bogota neighborhood, financial class never crosses their mind. But just across the street, it's the hard work and passion for caring for others that's giving those in need a helping hand.
It's extremely important, and that's because hunger in children doesn't allow them to go to school. They are always sick, and therefore they don't perform well at school.
This soy milk plant produces more than just milk. These ladies make soy goods that feed 300 people each day. The latest poverty index shows just over 10% of Colombia's 46 million residents live on about $1 per day. Seeing a need, the Rotary Club quickly developed their mission, serving warm meals to help people of all ages who can't afford to buy it on their own.
The program has been in effect for 10 years in Colombia. We've been working for 10 years in Colombia. We've delivered 139 processing machines in Colombia, and we are benefiting 68,000 children on a daily basis.
Protein from beef and poultry is too pricey, so they've turned to soybean products to fill that need.
It has the necessary protein in order to fight against malnutrition in our country. We have a 13% chronic malnutrition in Colombia, and we need to help our children to improve this malnutrition problem.
Soy patties, soy cookies, banana-flavored soy milk. This is creativity at its finest. And it's these women who continue to find tasty new ways to use soy.
And they've loved soybean products. That's because in addition of offering them lunch, they receive a certain hors d'oeuvre, such as the one that you tasted today.
Yeah, it was really good. It was like a vanilla wafer.
Food so good, these American farmers keep coming back for more.
Thank you again for joining us as we took a trip down south. From all of us at Farm Journal Television, thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you back here tomorrow.
The Chevy Silverado is the official news gathering vehicle for AgDay television.